but look at it. See, I'm wrong.
No, he got the boxing skills and the ability to, do whatever he wanted in the ring. And it's gonna be very hard to beat the skills that he possesses and the smarts that he has. And given the opportunity, I think he can pose a great threat to everybody in the division. And be the last man standing given the opportunity.
Stop scrolling, because if you think you already know what's happening with Errol Spence Jr., Tim Tszyu, and Terence Crawford, you might want to hold that thought for just a second, because fans are saying the real story isn't just about one fight anymore. It's about a comeback that somehow keeps getting stranger every single week.
This is the biggest fight in boxing right now. This is the fight that everybody been yearning for years. One of the biggest fights in the past decade that I can think of. So, yeah, it's pretty big.
The more pieces you line up, the more it feels like something bigger is quietly taking shape behind the scenes. Or at least, that's what the online speculation keeps insisting. Here's where things get interesting. For months, people kept asking the same question.
I'm the big fish. I'm the shark in the ocean. Put me in there with other sharks. I want my fans to see that I'm facing a real champion, a real fighter who's just as hungry as me, the big fish.
The most recent moniker put Spence's doubters on notice as he claimed his place in the welterweight sea. But just because it's time to eat doesn't mean he will take his next prey for granted.
If I lose, it would be because he's better than me. It wouldn't be just because I didn't train 100% or I wasn't focused. I feel under shorts, but I just feel like another fighter has a better scenario. He's a great fighter. I'm a great fighter. This fight, it's happening now. I think it's happening at a great time. Terence is my dancing partner. I feel like we're going to make it.
Where is Errol Spence Jr.? And more importantly, what version of Errol Spence Jr. is actually coming back? After a long layoff and a difficult loss to Terence Crawford, plenty of people online assumed they already knew the ending of this story. But then, everything started changing.
It's great because we hold each other accountable. Like today, I'm like, man, but he like, man, come on. I'm like, all right, let's go. And those are the moments that is defining in a fight, where those last rounds that your body is telling you no, but your mind is like, let's go. So it all works out.
If I didn't train as hard, it's going to dawn on me during fight night. I'm kind of like a worry freak. It's only your fault when somebody exploits you and bring out that weakness that you already knew you had, but you didn't change the results. So it's better to do it now and not have to worry about your legs getting tired in the fight, because the fight's too late. I'm doing everything, training hard, sparring hard.
Suddenly, reports suggested Spence wasn't simply preparing for another fight. He was rebuilding from the ground up with a renewed focus, a different training environment, and an approach centered around sharpening fundamentals instead of chasing headlines. And if you think that's where the surprises end, you haven't seen anything yet.
Do you expect, besides the fact, because of the fact that he hasn't been in the ring for 3 years, and he chose this time to come back and fight you in your backyard?
Yeah, I think he's refreshed, rejuvenated. I hope he is. When he fought Terence Crawford, I felt like he looked a bit dizzy, So I don't know. So hopefully he's all right. Hopefully he's at his peak. That's what I expect.
Because just when fans thought the biggest headline was the comeback itself, another twist appeared that nobody expected. Terence Crawford, the same fighter who handed Spence that defining defeat, is now reportedly sharing training sessions with him. Read that again. The rivalry everyone expected to stay frozen in history somehow evolved into something completely different. And fans immediately started spinning theories.
A tune-up, but it's, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a good little fight for him. Man been out 3 years. Tim Tszyu been active, former world champion. You know, he ain't going to get nobody we don't know. I can't take nothing. I can't do nothing but salute him, take my hat off for him, and see how he go to work. I think he gonna be fine. He looked like he's in good shape. You know, he ain't look all out of shape. He looked like, you know, he looked good. You know, he looked mentally all there. And I mean, little 3 years, like I said, I told him as soon as it happened, I said, okay, he had other stuff going on. You know, other stuff going on. That was a 5-year accumulation. A lot of stuff he did going through the rigmaroles with Bud, trying to figure out if they was gonna fight and building up his reputation and all this stuff. That was a lot. That was a lot. He's been doing this since 2012. That was a lot, you know. So 3 years off, you know, he come in contact with life too. He come in contact with life too. It ain't just about us and what we want to do and what we want to see. He got a life. He in there, you know. So, he did right, and I'm glad.
Some believe it's simply elite professionals helping each other improve. Others online wonder whether iron really sharpens iron in ways nobody sees until fight night. Either way, the image alone is enough to send boxing discussions into absolute overdrive. And this is where the conversation starts getting even wilder. Reports from training circles suggest the chemistry has been highly competitive, with both fighters pushing each other during intense sessions, and suddenly the internet couldn't decide whether this was redemption, strategy, or the beginning of a completely unexpected chapter.
Tell me, how do you see the fight playing out?
I expect him to win.
Yeah?
Yeah. Expect him to win. Expect him to win, yes. I think Errol Spence, he can do more than what he's shown. He just don't have to. You know, I think he can do more than what he's shown. He just didn't never have to. And I expect, like I'm saying, you know, this guy got, this guy got a lot in him. I think he got a lot in him. He got a lot in him, you know. In them 3 years, he had to come back to all the stuff he had to endure. Like I say, he looked in good shape. You know, he went away. You know, he didn't come out right away. He went, and then he back now. You know, he went to get it.
Every new clip, every workout photo, every cryptic comment became another puzzle piece. Coincidence? Preparation? Or simply two elite competitors refusing to stay trapped in yesterday's narrative? Nobody seems to agree, and that's exactly why everyone keeps talking about it. Then, fake breaking news alert for entertainment purposes, boxing social media practically exploded as fans jokingly declared that the comeback switch has officially been activated. Did anything officially change in that exact moment? Not necessarily.
Well, this is the section where we were meant to cross to the United States to talk to Errol Spence, but we are just hearing now that despite a number of phone calls and this time being booked with Errol, he has not jumped on, and it appears he will not be joining us for this chat. Tim, your immediate reaction to that?
Well, we've been waiting, 45 minutes now. I missed out on sparring today. I had to change it up for this to be done, so I'm quite upset.
Is this a surprise to you that this has happened? I know you had those interactions at the press conference. Do you think that he's slept through something?
We're waiting for the USA game, but I don't know. Whatever it is.
Being out of the ring against Tim Tszyu, just what are your thoughts on that fight, and who do you favor?
I don't know, man. It's Al Heyman calling these guys to come back, man, because we needed something up in the sport. This is beautiful. And I'm very honored and grateful to be in the position I'm in while all this is happening. It's a dream come true. Errol Spence, Australia, Tim Tszyu. Heck yeah. I really want to see him win.
Do you think that ring rust is going to play a factor at all with Errol?
I don't think so. I think Errol Spence has been truly non-stop working out. He already looks like he's in shape now. And when you stay on that trajectory, when you're staying consistently on working out, it's only bound to happen with the sparrings and everything. He'll look
early. But the reaction certainly did. Overnight, timelines filled with debates asking whether this version of Spence might look nothing like the fighter people remember. That's when Tim Tszyu's name started dominating the conversation again, because suddenly this wasn't just about recovery anymore. It was about collision. And here's where the tension gets louder. Tim Tszyu hasn't exactly been sitting around waiting. He's remained active, confident, and determined, which only adds another layer to the story. Online discussions have split into two passionate camps. One side argues activity beats everything. The other insists championship experience, ring IQ, and proven resilience become priceless when the lights get brightest.
A man that you have obviously fought, there was reports last night that apparently he'll be returning in the summer, Errol Spence Jr versus Tim Tszyu. I mean, what do you make of that return? Obviously 3 years at the ring for himself. Just what do you make of his return?
I'm excited as well. I wish that I would have fought, him back in the day, but, it's exciting. I met Tim Tszyu when I was in Australia, and it'll be interesting to see them two meet and lock on. So, I'll be watching that, and I'll be excited to see, the winners. You never know.
Of a Fundora, when I think fighters get to a point where they want this, but they haven't been performing there. And I think that might be the case with Errol Spence Jr. Certainly was the case in my opinion, with Keith Thurman and also with Danny Garcia. I feel, even though they did battle injuries, I felt another big part of that was they wanted big pay against lower opponent. They didn't want to come back and get big pay against a big opponent. It's a part of the game. And I got a feeling that that's what Errol's looking at right now. I think Errol's looking at how can I, get the money that I'm used to getting. And, for the sake of words, he's got to get his feet wet again. He's got to see how
His prediction seems to create 3 new arguments. Every interview creates 5 new theories. Every training update somehow becomes proof for whichever side already made up its mind. Sound familiar? That's because this storyline refuses to stay simple. Then came another moment that fueled even more conversation. Reports circulated that Tszyu expressed frustration after a planned live video appearance involving Spence didn't happen as expected, calling the situation disrespectful. Now nobody outside those involved truly knows every detail. But
a lot of things lingering right now with Errol. I'm not sure if he makes a comeback. This, unfortunately, is the one thing that I do know. Most fighters walk away until they have to come back, and usually it's the finance situation that brings them back. Certainly hope that doesn't end up being the case with Errol. If I had to bet on it right now, I would bet that Errol makes a comeback. I would bet that Errol makes a comeback because what we saw from him in his last match against Terence Crawford, that was just how that fight went. But at the end of the day, and we can tell by how he kept getting up, that ain't who he is. And he ain't going out like that. So that being said, I guess I said a whole lot. Yeah, Errol comes back. If Errol don't come back, then that, to me, that means he's good.
That didn't stop fans from building entire narratives overnight. Social media did what social media always does. It filled in the blanks with speculation, memes, dramatic edits, and endless debates. Suddenly, a missed appearance became another chapter in an already growing rivalry. And just when people thought the conversation couldn't get any louder, fake breaking news alert, the comment sections practically declared that the psychological battle had already started before anyone even touched gloves. Is that actually true? Nobody knows. But you can't deny the internet loves a dramatic storyline. Meanwhile, respected voices around boxing kept weighing in, making things even more fascinating. Some analysts acknowledged Tszyu's momentum while pointing out that a fully prepared Spence still carries championship pedigree that can't simply be erased by one difficult night. Others urged caution, reminding everyone that layoffs change fighters differently, and predicting outcomes from training footage alone rarely tells the whole story. Yet somehow those balanced opinions only made online speculation even more intense. Isn't that always how it goes? The more reasonable the discussion becomes, the louder the wild theories get. Then Sean Porter entered the conversation with a measured perspective that added another twist. Rather than making bold guarantees, he emphasized resilience while comparing comeback attempts to other experienced fighters chasing major opportunities after time away. It wasn't presented as certainty. It wasn't presented as a prediction. It was simply another reminder that championship mentality doesn't disappear overnight, even if circumstances change. And somehow that calm viewpoint became one of the biggest talking points of all. Why? Because it reminded everyone that boxing history is filled with stories that looked impossible, until they suddenly weren't. Now imagine this entire situation from the perspective of the fans. You have Spence rebuilding. You have Crawford unexpectedly becoming part of the training narrative. You have Tszyu gaining confidence and momentum. You have respected analysts offering cautious optimism instead of dramatic certainty. Every piece seems disconnected, until people online start connecting them anyway. That's when the theories really begin. Some fans suggest this is simply the natural evolution of elite athletes adapting after setbacks. Others playfully imagine the whole boxing world moving like a giant chessboard where every interview, every workout, and every public appearance somehow influences the next move. Is there evidence for a grand master plan? No. But that hasn't stopped entertainment-driven speculation from taking on a life of its own. Fake breaking news one more time. According to absolutely nobody official, but apparently everyone in the comment section, every new training photo now contains hidden clues, a new pair of gloves, strategy change, different footwork, secret weapon, a smile during training, a psychological message. It sounds ridiculous until you realize thousands of fans genuinely enjoy dissecting every tiny detail exactly like that. That's the magic of a massive comeback story. Every ordinary moment suddenly feels extraordinary because everyone is searching for the next reveal. And here's the biggest twist of all. What if the most important story isn't whether Spence wins or loses? What if the real story is that one setback completely rewrote how fans view every single move he makes? Before, workouts were just workouts. Now they're headlines. Before, sparring was just preparation. Now it's analyzed like breaking news. Before, every interview lasted a few minutes. Now every sentence gets replayed, debated, clipped, and interpreted from a dozen different angles. That's the real transformation. Whether people support Spence, back Tszyu, or believe Crawford remains the standard everyone is chasing, the conversation has become bigger than any single event. It's become about redemption, perception, momentum, and the stories fans create between official announcements. And maybe that's why this entire saga keeps refusing to slow down. Every week introduces another rumor, another interpretation, another debate fueled by online speculation rather than confirmed certainty. Every fan sees a different movie playing out in real time. Every prediction sounds convincing until the next twist arrives. So here's the question nobody can answer yet. Are we watching the beginning of one of boxing's most surprising comeback chapters? Or are fans simply weaving an irresistible entertainment narrative out of every headline, every training session, and every unanswered question? Let us know where you stand, because if the internet has taught us anything, it's that today's theory could become tomorrow's biggest debate. And in this story, nobody seems ready to stop talking.